Hello everyone, I'm Nai, and y'all know what time of the month it is, so today I'm going to be going over and giving my thoughts on Chapter 2 of Boruto to Blue Vortex. Of course, if you like the video, leave a like, comment your thoughts on the chapter, whether good or bad. I'll make sure to get to every comment, and subscribe. The title of the chapter is Tree, with Sarada as the cover, which also seems to be the full image from the promotional material we got a few months back, when we first saw Sarada's timeskip design. In the first page, we pick up where we left off last chapter, with Code talking to Boruto, saying he's been looking for him and he didn't expect him to come out so easily. Now I know it seemed like we were gonna get a three-way fight between Boruto, Code, and Kawaki, based off how the last chapter ended off, and it seemed that they were all in the same place, but in this chapter we learned that wasn't the case, and that Kawaki is in a different area of Konoha than Code and Boruto. Boruto tells Code to withdraw the claw grimes while he still can, and that if he does that, then he'll spare his life, which in my opinion is hard coming from Boruto. I feel like this is the attitude he should have given his circumstances, and his life was likely horrible as a result over those 3 years. Code says to Boruto that just 2 years ago, Boruto ran from him without being able to do anything, and questions the fact that Boruto would say he would spare his life. Boruto responds telling Code that he heard him and that if he understands, to just do as he says, or else this time his left eye won't be enough, and Code thinks he's bluffing. This kinda confirms that Boruto is the one who slashed Code's eye, so good to see a frequently brought up question get answered. In the next page, Sarada calls out to Boruto, and Boruto cuts her off and says there's a lot of people who weren't able to escape the village, so she should take care of that while Boruto faces Code. Sarada asks Boruto if he's alright, and he responds saying they will talk later, but for now, she needs to stay alive. One thing I've seen people talk about is how Boruto seems off when talking to Sarada, and it seems like he may be hiding something, almost like as if he has bad news for Sarada, considering that he told her that they will talk later, which of course is alluding to Sasuke being dead somehow. However, I don't think that's the case. Boruto could just be responding like that because of his attitude changing. He's older, and like I said earlier, is living a horrible life, so it's likely he just feels like there's not much to be happy about and could be depressed. Also, the village is in the middle of being attacked, so he could just be telling her they will talk later because his priority is to protect the village first. It's also a Sasuke-like thing to do, so it wouldn't surprise me if that's just how Boruto is right now. In the next page, we see Team 10 fighting against the Claw Grimes, and Chocho says that they're not that strong, but they have numbers, and we see a Claw Grime use each other as claw marks to attack Chocho, but Inojin comes in with his bird for the save. However, the Claw Grimes break off a wing with its tail to send the bird off balance and tries to attack Imawari, but Inojin makes the save again with the help of Kawaki, who just flew in. Imawari says thank you to who she thinks is her big brother, and Kawaki tells her to stop calling him that, and that he has told her over and over again. One thing I want to point out is that I've seen comments on Twitter or X of people saying this proves that Kawaki never wanted Boruto's life and only went along with it due to what he needs to do in killing Boruto. And while I think that's a fair interpretation, I think you can also interpret it as maybe Kawaki did want Boruto's life, and then through living it realizes that isn't what he wants anymore. I think that is possible because in chapter 79, Momoshiki does say the effect of omnipotence is Kawaki's desire to become a reality. So I think it's fair to say Kawaki did desire that at some point. Or maybe it was a in the moment kind of thing when he was having his anxiety or panic attack with Ada. Moving on though, Shikidai says that the Claw Grime is different now and look more superior. And we see the Claw Grime actually has a Renegon, which on a side note, it is good to see the Renegon make an appearance again. This Claw Grime uses a knocked out Claw Grime as claw marks to appear behind Kawaki and pin him to the ground, saying Otsutsuki in a very zombie type of way, but this is the first time we see a Ten Tails clone actually speak, but more on that later. Shikadai uses shadow possession to hold the claw grime and give Kawaki a way to move and says for Kawaki to hurry because he can barely hold it, but Kawaki says, Otsutsuki. It pisses me off when people call me that, as he blows off the claw grime's upper body, showing that he hates Otsutsuki just as much as he did before. More claw grimes come out of each other and Shikadai says there's no end to them, but Kawaki says it doesn't matter because he'll destroy every last one of them. We then cut back to Boruto and Code, and Boruto is surrounded by claw grimes, but he doesn't waver. One of the claw grimes come to attack Boruto, but he just slices it in half. Then all the grimes that were surrounding Boruto start to attack, but Boruto just deals with them with ease, showing Code that he isn't bluffing. Boruto says that if he keeps this up, he won't have any more grimes left, but Code responds telling Boruto not to get cocky just because he killed a few, and that there's plenty more, and that they're just tools for him, so it doesn't matter. However, Boruto tells him that he still doesn't understand the true horrors of the Ten Tails, to which Code starts to question Boruto. But still, more on that later. We cut to Sarada using fire bojutsu on the grimes and then killing the rest with Chidori, to which some random ninja was amazed and asked Sarada if she's really a genin, but Sarada asks if it really matters whether she's a genin or a jonin. Another grime comes out and attacks Sarada from behind. The random ninja steps in to take the hit for Sarada and begins to turn into a tree. Sarada then looks back at another random shinobi, and the same thing happens with the claw grime biting him and turning into a tree. We cut back to Boruto and Code again, with Code saying he knows about the Ten Tails already, and that they're beasts who feed on anyone and everyone on instinct till they find Otsutsuki. Boruto says that would normally be the case, but because of Code transforming them, they're now different. Now, I said earlier that I'll talk about the Ten Tails thing later, and I think now is a good time. It seems that because of Code adding his DNA to the Ten Tails clones, that they're beginning to grow a conscience, and Code is eventually going to lose control over them, which would make them run rampant, doing their own thing. Some evidence for this is Boruto saying in the next panel that there's still time and that he should annihilate them right now, otherwise they're headed for the worst future for everyone, which would imply that Code has control over them right now, but in time he will begin to lose that control. Obviously, we have to wait on more chapters to get more information on what this all means though. Code responds to Boruto asking him what is his point, because when the Ten Tails eats an Otsutsuki, it will take root on the earth and become a divine tree, and when that happens, the earth will die, and that's exactly his objective. Boruto tells Code again that he will let him live, but in exchange, Code will lead him to where he hid Ten Tails' real body. Code responds saying stupidity has a limit and asks Boruto if he has lost his mind. But Boruto responds and says that killing Code is easy, so instead of dying in vain, he should do something good for a change instead of wasting his life. Code says to Boruto that he's the one who's going to die, and Boruto responds saying there's no saving this idiot, and begins to use a Rasengan-like technique, to which Code notices and even calls out, but Boruto, while slowly walking forward, says his new move out loud, Rasengan Uzuhiko. And with that, the chapter comes to a close. Now, according to Luano on Twitter, Uzuhiko means something like Vortex Boy, which doesn't really tell us much unless this literally means Boruto is going to be the Rasengan itself, which sounds funny but pretty cool. All in all though, I really liked this chapter. It was mainly an action chapter, not too much dialogue, which is cool considering it's only the second chapter, but even with the few dialogue we did get, in my opinion, it was really good. I like how the characters interacted with each other this chapter, like Boruto and Code, Boruto and Sarada, and Kawaki and Himawari, just to name a few. We didn't get the Karma Trio three-way battle that most of us thought and hoped for, but at least we did get to see some action and a good variety of interactions, so I think it's all good. And the end of the chapter seems to confirm that Boruto and Code are gonna fight next chapter, as Boruto is using this new Rasengan Uzuhiko on Code. Anyways, if you made it to the end of the video, once again, don't forget to, of course, like, comment your thoughts on the chapter, and subscribe with post notices on, so you don't miss when I upload another video. Till next time.